In a world where saving money is often celebrated, it's easy to think that buying cheap is the way to go. But did you know that choosing low-cost items can lead to unexpected costs? In fact, research shows that Americans waste an average of $1,400 a year on cheap products that break or need replacing. That's a shocking amount of money for things that don't even last. Cheap items often come with hidden dangers, too. For example, many budget-friendly electronics have a failure rate that's 50% higher than their more expensive counterparts. This means you might save money up front, but you could end up paying more in repairs or replacements later on. So, what's the real cost of buying cheap? In this article, we'll uncover the often overlooked truths about frugality. We'll explore how cheap goods can waste your time, harm your health, and even damage the environment. By the end, you'll see that choosing quality over price can save you money and stress in the long run. Get ready to rethink your shopping habits and discover a smarter way to live frugally. Chapter 1. The false economy of cheap buys. We all love a bargain, but sometimes what looks like a great deal is actually a trap. Take the classic case of cheap electronics. A study from Consumer Reports found that budget laptops are twice as likely to break within the first 3 years compared to higher-end models. You might save money up front, but if your gadget constantly needs repairs or replacement, that good deal evaporates quickly. Cheap products often cost more over time because they're built with low-quality materials. Think about kitchen appliances, for instance. Buying the $20 blender might seem smart, but after replacing it 3 times in 5 years, you've spent more than you would have on a single high-quality model. A good rule to follow? Consider the cost per use. If you're buying something you'll use daily, it's usually worth investing in something that will last. You don't want to fall into the trap of spending more in the long run. As the saying goes, buy cheap, buy twice. Chapter 2. The time trap. When cheap costs you more than money. One of the most overlooked costs of buying cheap is time. Time, after all, is money. Think about the time you spend shopping for replacements or fixing low-quality items. A Harvard Business Review article points out that Americans waste an average of 43 hours per year dealing with returns and exchanges. And that's not even counting the frustration. Take clothing, for example. Fast fashion is notorious for being inexpensive, but it's not built to last. So, you're left constantly replacing items that wear out quickly. According to a 2018 survey by WRAP, Waste and Resources Action Programme, the average person in the UK throws away 81 pounds of clothing each year. Not only does this waste time on frequent shopping trips, but it's also harmful to the environment, which we'll get into more later. Instead, consider focusing on quality over quantity. Investing in a few well-made pieces of clothing will save you time in the long run, and you'll look and feel better wearing them, too. Chapter 3. Quality matters. Why cheap kills value over time. Cheap doesn't always mean valuable. A key lesson in frugal living is understanding the difference between price and value. While something may be low cost up front, if it doesn't last, you're losing value over time. A good example is shoes. Cheap shoes might cost you $30, but they could wear out after just a few months. In contrast, a well-made pair of shoes costing $100 could last for years. According to the Buy It Once movement, which advocates for purchasing high-quality goods designed to last, this mindset shift can save both money and resources in the long term. The goal is to focus on durability, functionality, and repairability. It's a smarter approach than constantly replacing cheap products that wear out quickly. Additionally, cheap products can cost you in ways you don't immediately see. For example, poor quality tools or kitchen gadgets can make everyday tasks harder and less enjoyable. If a cheap blender can't chop ice or mix properly, you're stuck with frustration every time you use it. Remember this quote from John Ruskin, a 19th-century economist: "There is hardly anything in the world that some man cannot make a little worse and sell a little cheaper, and the people who consider price alone are this man's lawful prey." It's a reminder that, when it comes to quality, you really do get what you pay for. If you're finding this information helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more insights into smart spending and frugal living. Chapter 4. The Eco Cost. How cheap goods harm the planet. While buying cheap might save you some cash, it can have a hidden environmental cost. Low-quality goods often come with a short lifespan, leading to more waste. According to the EPA, the U.S. generated 12.1 million tons of textile waste in 2020 alone, much of it from fast fashion. Cheap clothing, in particular, is a major contributor, and most of it ends up in landfills. Fast fashion isn't the only culprit. Many inexpensive products, from electronics to furniture, are made with non-recyclable materials. This means they can't be reused or repurposed. And when they break down, they release harmful chemicals into the soil and water. Essentially, when you buy cheap, you're paying the earth to deal with the mess later. Investing in higher quality, durable products doesn't just help you save money, it also helps the environment. A 2021 report from McKinsey & Company found that extending the life of a product by just 9 months could reduce its carbon footprint by 20–30%. So, when you buy a well-made item that lasts, you're not only saving yourself the hassle of frequent replacements, but also reducing your impact on the planet. As environmentalist Annie Leonard once said, there is no such thing as away. When we throw anything away, it must go somewhere. When you think about it, every product you buy is part of a much larger system, and the choices you make impact more than just your wallet. Chapter 5. The health price of going too cheap. Another overlooked hidden cost of buying cheap? Your health. Sometimes, buying low-quality products means exposing yourself to harmful materials or chemicals. Cheap furniture, for example, is often made with materials like formaldehyde, which has been linked to respiratory problems. Similarly, low-cost cookware can contain harmful non-stick chemicals, which can leach into your food. A study by Toxics in Everyday Life found that budget furniture is often treated with flame retardants, which can release toxic fumes over time. While it's great to save money, exposing your family to these risks simply isn't worth it. Investing in safer, higher quality items is a simple way to protect your health. This doesn't just apply to furniture or cookware. Cheap mattresses, shoes, or poorly made office chairs can lead to long-term physical discomfort. If you're constantly replacing these items, you're not only wasting money but also putting your health at risk. A National Sleep Foundation survey found that high-quality mattresses contribute significantly to better sleep quality, reducing physical pain and improving overall well-being. So, while it's tempting to skimp on the essentials, it's smarter to invest in quality when it comes to your health. One way to ensure you're making the right choice? Check for certifications like GreenGuard or OEKO Tex for safe, non-toxic materials. These labels help you identify products that won't compromise your health in the name of frugality. Chapter 6. The hidden risks of cheap services, cutting corners on expertise. When we think of buying cheap, we usually focus on products. But services can also be a risky area for cutting costs. Whether it's home repairs, car maintenance, or personal services, going cheap can lead to bigger problems down the road. Take home renovations, for example. Hiring a low-cost contractor might seem smart, but if the work is shoddy, you could end up paying double to fix their mistakes. A Home Advisor survey revealed that 24% of homeowners regret choosing the cheapest contractor, often citing poor quality and hidden fees. In the realm of car repairs, the same rules apply. A report from AAA found that Americans spend an average of $1,200 per year on car maintenance, but opting for cheap, non-certified mechanics often leads to botched jobs that end up costing more. Spending a little extra upfront on an experienced, certified mechanic can prevent costly future repairs. It's not just about money either. Cheap services can put your safety at risk. Poorly installed wiring, cheap plumbing jobs, or even cut-rate medical services can have serious consequences. You don't want to risk your health or home just to save a few bucks. As the old saying goes, you get what you pay for. So, how do you avoid these traps? Focus on reputation over cost. Look for service providers with strong reviews, transparent pricing, and a history of quality work. Ask for references or check online platforms like Yelp or Angie's List. Sometimes, spending a little more on the right service provider can save you money and headaches in the long run. If you enjoyed these insights and want to learn more about smart spending strategies, be sure to subscribe for future content.